What's going on, honey? What is going on? Today is going to be a great day. Y'all see the sun behind me shining? Y'all see it shining? We had a little rain, child, but baby, the sun did peeped back out. Thank you for being here on Clock In with Lynn. I love you guys. So listen, okay, y'all gonna love my guest today, per usual. We have a lot to talk about, okay? So yes, but I just wanted to come on here, see how everybody was doing. Make sure that you drop in the comments where you're from so I can know where are you tuning in from, okay? So put it in the comments and we're going to get started pretty soon. But how is everybody doing? How is everyone doing out here in these streets? It is Tuesday. It's Taco Tuesday. Anybody making any tacos? Is anybody making any tacos? Anyone? So yes, I'm Lynn. I'm your host today, and I am so grateful to be here with you all who is tuning in. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel on YouTube, which is Clock In with Lynn. Also, I am here on Facebook with my name, Merlin Williams. Y'all know. So please tune in, share, like, all of that little bitty stuff, baby. Yes. Okay. Because listen, I need all of your support so that we can do more things. So the more you like, the more you share, the more you subscribe, the more I can bring it to you guys and entertain you. So I am just so happy to be here. Let me make sure I have everything turned on. I'm very excited. Super excited. But yes, thanks for being here on Clock In with Lynn. Yes, y'all. Let me make sure everything is going the way it needs to be going, honey. Let me double check. Let's see. Yep. Got that up. Y'all, I am getting so good at this tech thing. Like, I am really, y'all, I know y'all proud of me. I just know y'all proud of me because it was a challenge. It was a challenge, but I got it together. I'm getting better and better and better and better. Like I said, we're also going to start going live on Instagram. Hopefully, no, not hopefully, we are. I just got to figure it out. So yes, make sure that you continue to support your girl. And I got y'all, okay? If nobody else got y'all out here in these streets, I got you. So also, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop those questions in the comment section because I would love to answer them. I love the participation. So yes, today I'm going to be talking to my guest today about bouncing back, going through things and challenges and able to just bounce back. So it's going to be so interesting today because we all need to be able to bounce back when you go through challenges or any trials, any disappointments. The ultimate goal is to bounce back and do more and do better, and be better. So we're going to be speaking on that today, which is going to be very informational, even for me, because I love to hear from others' perspectives of what they feel, because a lot of time that highlights a lot of things for me that I haven't even thought about. So yeah, all of this is very educational for us, and I would like to continue to do this because I am doing this for the good of the world and the community and all of that good stuff. So yes. Oh, I think my guest is here. Yeah. Okay, so let me do the introduction, y'all. So She's an entrepreneur. She's a mother. She's a teacher. She's an author. She's a singer. She's also an engaging public speaker. She's a musician. Let me tell you, now she is hitting those comedy stages. I need all of you all to help me welcome my friend, Lisa Marie
Lynn, I love you. Oh my God, I love you. I so love you.
You look so beautiful.
Well, thank you.
Excited.
I knew I had to show up somehow, baby.
I am so excited. Yay! Let me turn up.
Oh my golly. Things are so good. And I'm so proud of you. Can I just take a minute to talk you up and say how we just met just before Christmas? And here you are, not 1, not 5, not 10, but God knows how many you've done of these, and you keep turning them out, and you are really bringing something important to people, and people like me who haven't found their correct mate. I mean, I'd like to think I have, but one never knows. One never knows. But you know what? You took a dream, you took a seed, you watered it, you gave it ample soil, you gave it sunshine, you gave it rain and thunderstorms even. And here you are birthing out something that is so beautiful and relates to so many people across the globe, across racial and religious and any kind of orientation whatsoever. And you're giving it your heart, you're giving it your mind, and you're giving it your all. And can I just say, I am honored to be here. And Lynn, I just celebrate you for being such a representation of our tribe. And I just love you to pieces.
Thank you, listening. That's awesome. Thank you so much. You're amazing.
Welcome.
Even when we first met, I knew you were just a ball of personality. First of all, you're beautiful. And then second, it's just like you just lit up. We were just live when we all met and all of that. But you just lit up like that little square. And I'm like, this is amazing. So it's such an honor and a pleasure to know you and you to be here. And I really thank you for those kind words. I really appreciate it. Yes!
Oh, forever. So, I'm gonna be your cheerleader. I'm gonna be president of your fan club. Now, I'm gonna be honest with you. I know some people that are gonna argue with me about that position, and I can sense that 3 or 4 of them might be on here. But know this: we can all be co-presidents of your fan club. It's all good.
That's right. We are stronger together, and I love it. Yes. So let's get into it, Miss Lisa Marie.
Done, baby.
So I know that I had with your introduction, but I would like you just tell us a little bit about what you do, your career, all of those things, where you're from.
I'm from my mom.
That's right.
I'm from my mom. I presently live in Ottawa, Canada, which is the nation's capital. It's the equivalent of DC. So Washington, DC in the United States, but I'm here in Canada. So this is our nation's capital. Nice. And and I went to school for music. I have a degree in education in music. And my master's, I studied in performance and choir direction and stuff. And God has just really used me in the best way possible, serving his people in church, at weddings, at funerals, a lot of funerals, almost 1,000 funerals actually. And a lot of weddings. Okay, my battery power's not going well. Let's just check that out. Sorry. But anyway, until it dies, I'm still here. It's plugged in. No, it's not. Now it's not. Hold on. Technical difficulties. This is because I'm a white girl. I'm just gonna say I have white hair. I'm a white girl with white hair, and no clue what to do. People smarter than me do all this, and I just sound beautiful. And it's down to 3%. Please charge. Hold on. We're gonna try this again.
I am tech challenge as well, so that's why I'm sitting here. I have so much patience with everybody. Is so patient with me. So yes, take your time, do whatever you need to do, honey. Okay, we lost her, but I know she's coming back. So until then, actually, I'm going to turn on my AC. know y'all missing me. I know y'all missing me. I know y'all missing me. So she's gonna come back on. So yes, I just love me some Lisa Marie. She'll be back. So if you have any questions, thank you, Omar. Congratulations, Mr. Donaldson. Thank you. So yes, hold on. I'm just waiting that way she can jump back on. So listen, if you have any questions, we're gonna really talk about the things of, everyone on here knows that I am a divorcee. I was married, and I'm divorced. So I do like to talk to other women that have gone through that. And I feel like a lot of times people will go, oh, how can you give advice to women with a failed marriage? And I think that's the perfect person to tell you. I'm going to help you get through some things that I wish I had somebody to tell me. Oh, she's back. So yes, we'll continue. Let me pull her up on this live stage. Where that? We back.
Okay, found a different device. It was all good. Okay.
Okay.
I have no idea where this thing is at. I've got my camera. I just.
You good?
Okay. So.
So go.
Whatever you're saying.
I don't know where we left off. I think you would tell us a little bit about, you're from Canada. Were you born and raised there, Lisa Marie?
Yes, ma'am. Except part of my life has been raised in the United States. My mom's family is from Nebraska.
Okay.
South Dakota. And I now have some transplants from there that are in California, Wisconsin, Texas, Massachusetts, New Jersey, New York, all of that. So, and Colorado. Yeah. Beautiful family. Right. Yeah.
And so you have 2 boys, right? 3 boys. Okay. You're a boy mom. I love it. Get into it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, because I was talking when you when it was working with your technical difficulties, I was saying that I wanted to, I'm divorced. I was married for 6 years. I was with him for 10. But a lot of times, a lot of people always go, how are you, trying to give advice for these women, because I came from a failed marriage, or whatever, if you want to call it that, whatever. A failed marriage.
I'm going to do something that somebody told me.
Okay.
You saved yourself and potential family from that relationship.
Okay. So I dodged a bullet.
You chose right.
I chose right. And I do feel like it too. And this is what I always tell people too. I said, listen, the thing is, listen to the things that we went through, and that helps. Who else? That's the best person to tell you, like learn from my mistakes. So back to you. Tell us a little bit about, I know you were married twice, but tell us a little bit about your first marriage, so everybody can kind of get an idea.
Yeah. So in very, very brief, the first marriage, the guy was really nice. Like, we never fought or anything. And I think there's a point to that. If you don't have conflict with somebody, you can't come out and be on the other side of things. And I don't mean conflict in the sense of, punch, argue. I mean, just in a difference of opinion where you do need to learn to communicate and talk things out. And so that wasn't present, number one. Number two, he was very, very passive. So anything that needed to be done that I did wasn't met with any resistance. And to that point, he kind of lost a bit of his masculinity. I think there were other underlying issues. Don't get me wrong. Right. We're absolutely talking about an iceberg in the ocean that has a lot happening underneath. But to be said, at least it wasn't abusive, which was wonderful. But it also wasn't fulfilling, and it was very empty for me. From everything that I believed to be part of it. Like, I was raised to be, to save myself. Not that I wasn't that somebody else wasn't a gift, but to really give my whole heart, mind, and soul and body in love in a relationship, and to do that in marriage, because that's the relationship that lasts a lifetime. And so that's what I chose to do. And yet it wasn't presenting as that kind of relationship. It was more like a really good, in its best of times, we were really great housemates.
And how long were you married the first time?
10 and a half years.
Oh, okay.
He had a lot of health issues. I had a lot of people challenging me on my capabilities to stick with it. But, my turn of the other century grandmother, she was born in 1895, had also passed along to everybody. You make your bed, you lie in it. You make this choice for life. And if it isn't detrimental, and I do mean detrimental, then you find a way or you make a way. And I loved him as a person. I did. We had the Christian faith as our foundation, but I didn't realize how much was missing in that foundation. And as things grew on and came along with the boys and everything, it was hard to justify some things that I wanted when he wasn't representing the same thing. And until conflict really, came to a head, where I married potential without fulfillment, and all that fulfillment means in all the different ways it means. It was hard, and I'm not going to pretend that it was just a breakup, like for everything that I knew to be true. So I felt like I failed. I felt exactly what you said. I failed in my marriage. I felt that. And I spoke to my aunt, who was pretty much my grandma, because my grandmother had already passed when I was like 8 or 9. And this aunt of mine said, what did he, tell me the truth. And so I did. And I mentioned things like he had chronic fatigue, chronic pain, spinal arthritis, fibromyalgia, and depression.
Wow.
And it stopped him from going to church, although that's how we met each other. We were both musicians in church. And she said, you know what, honey, for all the things to deal with, and she had lupus at the time. So she's like, I get the whole pain thing, but this depression thing, I don't get. Like the mental health thing, she just didn't get. And she's like, I can speak to the pain and the choices we make based on our pain, but I can't talk to the depression. And she says, I have no experience with that. My heart breaks for you. And in that moment, I kind of felt like I had not the blessing of my ancestors, but the understanding of my ancestors to make a better choice for my children and for me. And it really became a better choice for us. They have a great relationship with their dad, and one of them still lives with him, or has chosen to live with him. And for that, I'm grateful. Like he's not the person that they needed to be in that kind of leadership role, but he's a good person. And so I'm happy that they do have that relationship, and that they can reconcile the difference between a providing father and a good person in the Christian world, if you will.
Right. And you spoke on too, like when you said the whole potential, because I know a lot of women, we look for that potential. And I know you, in one of your other interviews, you were speaking on like not the potential. You need to see the proof. So can you speak on that just a little bit?
I can speak on it twice.
Like, so true. See what we want to see, but a lot of times we see things and we kind of overlook it because you really just want that relationship. So I just want you to speak on that a little bit.
You bet. And you know what? When it came time to looking for my second husband, I had pages and pages and pages in a notebook of what I saw in other relationships and things that I wanted. I had already had a list of what I wanted in my future husband when I met the older boy's dad.
Okay.
And that just kept growing and growing. And from respect to doting on, to understanding even if they didn't agree with it, to respecting even if they didn't like it, like all the other comparisons, not comparisons, the compromises that we can make in life. Like he may not be an A in every category, but if he's a B or even a C, but let me tell you, D is done. Like, and so I had up leveled all of that. And so when I met my, at the time, not quite what hadn't been my second husband at the time, but when I first met him, he checked off so many of those boxes. What I didn't realize is there was a lot more talk than experience. So just before we got on tonight, I'm writing up a proposal for a church for a music director position.
Okay.
Part of that is looking at what is somebody's education, what's somebody's experience in the number of years, what's their genre experience, what's their experience with music, with instruments, with singers, with writing music, with composing music, all of those little caveats. And what I found was in my most recent ex-husband, without the big stuff, he had never been in a long-term relationship past a year and a half.
Oh.
And he had been, to his own determination or definition, he had been a bachelor for 10 years.
Oh.
So that's part of the experience. Like, you might have the education, you might be 25 and plus, you might be 35 and plus, you might be whatever that qualification is, you might be the looks and the style and the this and the that and the athletic and blah blah blah. But man, oh man, if you haven't had some life experience with women, either a strong mom, whether or not a single mom, sisters, female cousins that you grew up with, or you've been in long-term relationships more than once, you don't have the experience. And I didn't know that at the time. I thought I was getting somebody fresh off the pad, off the lily pad. I mean, hey, he's trainable. This is great. He hasn't been messed up by a woman or women. He hasn't been divorced with this whole idea of a conundrum of a relationship potential. Right? Because I think we all carry baggage.
Right.
Some of them are their baggage.
Wow.
And my first husband, his character was his condition. And his condition was his character. My second marriage, he had not gone through the trials. So what ended up happening as a really big trial for us, unfortunately showed more weakness in development just because it had never been tried before.
Mm-hmm.
And so where he fell was into a place of self-medication, of hurtfulness, of dealing with past trauma that he thought he had gone through. And for me, I was dealing with other health issues, like it's sickness or in health. But you know, when you're dealing with mental health, it's not like you have a light switch to say, oh, she's on crutches today, she's in a wheelchair. She's on crutches today, she's in a wheelchair. It's like, she's a Jekyll or she's a Hyde.
Right.
And that becomes a very different thing. But to that point, like, I still had my list. He still signed off all the check boxes that I believed were necessary. And for the first few years, and even through our courtship, even through our marriage, things were okay. And he was a mental health therapist.
Wow.
So he had more knowledge than the average bear does.
So in your second marriage, what do you think just broke it, where you were just like, I just can't do this anymore?
We were married in 2012, had Joseph, my 10-year-old, who you would know about, in 2013. And in the fall of 2014, I was in a very bad car accident where I took the brunt of the accident, not my car, and I had sustained what would become my 5th concussion, but I didn't realize I'd had that many beforehand because I didn't present the same way. And I've now had 7, but that was number 5, and it was huge. It was bad. Joseph, my 10-year-old now, his dad had not just made it to Canada, immigration from the United States, had not secured a job yet, and was working sporadically. I'm self-employed, have been for over 25 years, and that's what I was doing at the time of the accident. Even that evening, it was an afternoon accident. I went to go sing at a funeral and was rear-ended. Staying at the funeral with my head like this, big and pounding and pounding. What? Yeah, and then I went to my meeting that night, my sales meeting with my representatives, and schmoozed everybody, and then I pretty much passed out the next day until God knows when. But I didn't take the time off I needed to heal a brain injury, essentially. And because of that, and because I didn't know any different, I did not know past needing verbal therapy it was gonna take to get me to be me again. And I had sustained concussions before. One was in 2010, and it was really by 2015 that I was starting to be medicated, which my counselor and I realized needed to happen. I want to say 100 years before, years before, because it was such a big difference. And it took three years to get the cocktail right. So I joked at my comedy night. I'm like, "Hi, I'm Lisa Marie, and I'm happily medicated." You're welcome. Because it's true, but I mean that's because of brain injury stuff, but all the stupid stuff, and we don't have time for that. It's not the platform for that. But anybody can reach out to me directly. I have no problem speaking on it. It just meant that I had poor behavior. I did not know where the little switch was for my little, not the angel on the shoulder, the other one, right? So the angel's on this side, this was the other side. And I didn't know. I didn't know where the shutoff valve was for that. I didn't know how to turn it on, let alone turn it off. And I can see where people really, the stuff you see on Criminal Minds and NCIS and FBI, I can see where that happens now.
Wow.
I am a statistic.
Yikes.
Yeah. But I'm really cute. So that saved me. I'm really cute. So all in all, he saw his past where I was working to overcome my present and get to my future. And my older kids made the point of telling me, "Mom, we're so proud of you because you keep trying to get better." He hasn't. But all we see you do is try to get better. Be it talking to a priest, talking to a counselor, seeking medication, talking to your friends, taking yourself out of a situation that is toxic, removing yourself from this, going over to my mom and dad's for a night or two, like whatever it was that I had to do, even with my baby boy. And so that's, I mean, there's a lot more to that. But in the end, what got me was, you know what? I'm done. I now finally feel strong enough to make a choice to protect my children.
Absolutely.
Children's Aid Society was involved. The police were involved in a couple circumstances. And I was finally able to make that way to say, oh my gosh, as a mom, the only thing I can do is protect my family. And I finally found a way to do that 2018. It took me 5 years after that car accident to get to that point.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. God bless you. That is, I can't imagine. You said you had 7 concussions?
Yeah. I'm super cute.
Wow. You're just an angel and yourself just sitting there. That is, wow.
Thank you.
And you having just all of those experiences with your first husband and your second husband.
Yeah.
What are some lessons or a lesson that you learned that's helping you in your new relationship?
The first thing I did during COVID was I took time out to take care of me. It was 2019, 2020. And you remember Sean Smith? I'm just going to come up here a little closer. You remember Sean Smith from Ignite Live?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Sean Smith, SeanSmith. He had been involved with a sales company that I've been involved with, and he was a leadership coach. And he introduced me to this wonderful woman named Michelle Moore, Moore. And she became my coach, my life coach. But I didn't know it at the time because I was doing something like, I'd like to get better in my business. I've been a sales director. How do I do that? But what turned out to happen was I had residual from concussion number 4, we'll call it, from relationships before, relationships between the 2 marriages, just me. What did I take out of all of that to make me better and stronger? Because at the end of the day, it wasn't that either of these guys screwed up. I mean, I have a place to play with all that too. And some of it was trauma-based. I would interrupt. I would negate. I would correct. I had zero patience, which is part of the brain injury. I had zero control of my emotions for a time because that was a reset of where my head got hit. I became like a teenager all over again. Can you just imagine? Not so cute. But because I was silent in relationships, I had a better conversation with myself. And the direction that Michelle gave me was monumental. It was like, okay, so where do you feel this? Where does it sit in your body? Is it in your belly? Is it in your chest? Is it in your head? What does it look like? What does it feel like? If you were to minimize it, how would you shrink it? Like all those things that we go, and I don't mean any fuddy-duddy stuff. Like I'm a solid traditional Christian as they come. I do have some experience in the charismatic renewal, and I certainly am ecumenical all the way. But there were just things about that just got me centered. Where was the anxiety coming from? The depression. And I've been diagnosed with depression and PTSD and anxiety, like to the point where, I'm medicated. And yet, without those searches, I couldn't be that mom that earned her older boys saying, Mom, you're working really hard and we see it.
Wow.
You're working to get better and we see it. And ironically, the person that I had compared all of my relationships to, because I was in high school when I sang at his wedding, to the woman that was basically my big sister in high school. Like I don't have a sister, but she was my big Christian sister growing up. And I sang at their wedding, and they've had, 25 beautiful years of marriage. I was at a number of their family events, saw their kids being born. They came to the wedding in 2012 to Joseph's dad, all of that. I didn't realize that he was the guy I was comparing everybody else to.
Oh, wow.
And I know. Yeah. We lost her 8 years ago to cancer. And every day I wish her back.
Oh,
1,000%.
Sorry to hear that, Lisa Marie.
Well, and thank you. She was she loved the Lord, Lynn. He was everything to her, and everybody she met who was having a rough time, she's like, Jesus loves you. God loves you. You're beautiful. He sees you for who you are. I'm going to take my glasses off. He sees you for who you are. He accepts your talents and your limitations. He wants you just to be in his arms. He just wants to hold you. And that's how I grew up, was hearing this from this woman. And her name was Sylvie. It took 5 years for Brian to get to a point where he could talk to people again.
Wow.
And he and I have now been together for 3. And all I can say is he is her gift to me.
Oh,
For all the boxes I talked about being checked off before, Lynn, he had all the other boxes I never knew I wanted and needed.
so you've been with him for 3 years?
Yeah, we're not living together. We're not engaged. Not married.
Okay.
his kids grown up. I have my 2 kids grown up, and then we have Joseph, who's 10.
Mhm.
He has been, he is the foundation that God says I'm going to build this building on.
Whoa.
Brian loves me, and I knew this. I knew this because of how he loves Sylvie. She wasn't a perfect body type. She had a skin condition. She was athletic. She had so many things that nobody would ever think would be in a magazine. He loved her, and nobody. And I knew nobody could turn his head.
Wow.
And he looked at me at one point and he said, I will love you. If this is what God wants, I will love you the way God wants you to be loved, the way you need to be loved. And it's going to take some time for you to get used to it.
Love it. I love it. I love it. That's amazing how things can happen where your mate can just show up, and that's incredible. That's a beautiful story. And would you say that he helped you with like your healing process as well? Because I always ask the question of, is it okay to, is it healthy to go into other into a new relationship when you know you're going through healing? And you, with that story, he definitely helped you through a healing process. That's so beautiful.
Thank you. But except that I took a time for 1.5 years before reconnecting with him. And I never would have thought that this man, solid man, from a solid marriage, solid Christian, solid everything. And the Ottawa, I'm sure like DC, is the biggest small town city. But we're not a small town city. We're a pretty big city, right?
Okay.
But it's a small town mentality. So if you're in the wedding business, you know the wedding people. If you're in the funeral business, you know the funeral people. If you're in real estate, you know the real estate people. If you're a mortgage broker, or if you're, a doctor or whatever, like you just know the people because it's such a community. And I reached out to somebody who was in our community and I just said, what's your take? And I trust her like I trusted Sylvie as a big sister type. And she said exactly that, solid man from a solid marriage. And he wanted to learn me. And in that, there are some parts that he taught me about me that I was not aware of because there wasn't anybody around to tell me. I knew what I had to go through, what I needed to improve upon because of my experience, because of my direction, because of me as a mom, from what my boys were telling me, but not from an adult who wanted the best for me. And I don't mean parents. I don't mean siblings. I don't mean like there's a whole, they have their own place. But for this space and place, so he could show me things gently. He could challenge me gently. And I mean that. When somebody shows you love, it needs to be done gently. And he could do that. He still does it. And he jokes. He says he's the biggest jerk. And he is. Anytime I want to be like a little bit romantic, I'm like, oh, honey. And he'd be like, oh, so how about them Jays? Could you pick a better time to do it? And he's like, no. You think you want to be with this for the rest of your life? You're going to get jerk. It's okay. But if you're not okay, you need to tell me now because I'm out the door.
That's what I was going to ask you too. So how do y'all keep it fun? How do y'all keep it spicy and fresh? And both of you guys coming from relationships, and this is, like you said, this is in your other interview, you were saying that's your first and last because you got the other 2 marriages annulled. So how do you keep it fresh and fun and spicy? I mean, I know we all in a relationship you're gonna go through ups and downs. But being through, with having the experience that you have and he has, like, how do you guys keep it fresh? What can you tell us to help these people out here in this world that needs to keep it fresh and spicy in these relationships?
Okay, well, we're not yet married, so I can't speak to all of that. However, What I remember is what we had, because I did do marriage counseling with both of the previous relationships. And in one of those, the counselor was like, you know what, you're going to have your compatibility. What's your compatibility like? What are your values? What are the things that you most treasure? Is it family? Is it fun? Is it adventure? Is it physical activity like hiking or skiing or whatever? You're gonna have that compatibility, which means, can you be friends?
I love the friends first. Okay, I'm listening.
Right? Yeah. And then there's communication. How do you guys communicate? And some people are great at it because they already kind of speak their own language. That happens. It's like crossing any cultural lines. There's going to be some cultural differences. Some, you were raised differently, whether you are from different faiths or different backgrounds or different countries. That's part of your communication. Are you a hard communicator, soft communicator? Do you come out directly? Do you come out asking questions? Do you hope they get your signals? Right. But at the end, direct is always best, even if it's at the risk of taking a risk. Like, I don't know how else to say that, right? So communication. And do you take the time away where you're not arguing and yelling and hurting each other and insulting and all that stuff? Because that's just toxic. But can you do it in a way where it's like, I need a few minutes to calm down. Let me calm down and I'll come back to the situation. And the other person respects that. If they can't respect that, which I've experienced, then it's hard to move forward because you're bombarded and you don't have the time to settle and get that peacefulness back inside of you where you choose to love the other person and respect them in that moment. So that was the second one, was communication. The third one is chemistry. And chemistry is as much how you're physically attracted to somebody as much as it is mystery. So is there mystery?
Come on, Lisa Marie.
Is it the same old, Marie? Is once a month a really great month? Are you telling, this goes back to communication, are you telling your loved one, and if you're married, your lover, like they're your lover as much as they are your partner and your married person and the person you've chosen, and the step parent or the parent of the children? There's as much that's the je ne sais quoi, they say en français, the I can't say what is the translation. It's that little secret sauce that should be in there. And so the mystery of, well, are you always going to start by kissing me on my temple, kissing me on my cheek, kissing me on my neck, kissing me on my décolleté, and now I know your cues? Or are we just going to be sitting on the couch and I put my leg over and you're going to start to tickle my foot? And now that's something new. Or is it, hey, is he asleep yet? You know what? We have no kids tonight and there's a thunderstorm outside. Do you want to go in the car and scream?
Absolutely love it.
So it's
love it.
But and if you don't have all the compatibility, okay, that at the end of the day, when there is no chance for mystery because the kids are there, the bills are there, the work is there, the other stuff's there, and you don't have the communication to say, hey baby, I really want to, my head's not there, but man, oh man, as soon as I have that, you better believe your socks are going to fly off, because you know what I feel about socks. There's no socks in this, right? And that's where the chemistry can come up, but only if you've got the other ones. And so maybe I need to reverse them. It's your compatibility, then your communication, and then your chemistry.
I love that.
If it's not in that kind of placement, I don't know how anybody can survive.
Right.
Like, I have chemistry with my girlfriends. We joke and we flirt. I have a couple of lesbian girlfriends that come to me from time to time like, are you sure you're not batting for the same team? I just love people, but I'm that open with the people that I care for and love and trust.
Right.
You cannot have compatibility, communication, or chemistry without the trust. And so I can say that the year and a half before being with Brian, for me, Michelle Moore, was all about building up me so I could build up my trust and trust my decisions, trust my choices. Because up to then, I was like, I don't know. I don't think I could ever trust myself again. It's not always about trusting other people. It's about trusting ourselves.
Yeah, you got to start with with yourself, right?
Yeah,
absolutely. This is so good. I just can't. I was about to say though, what advice will you? Because you were talking about trust, and I feel like a lot of, and I know that we speak to a lot of young women. What advice would you give someone early 20s as far as getting into like a serious relationship? Like, what advice would you tell that young woman like right now about things that you learned in your early? Everybody's saying hi everyone.
I would definitely say trust your instincts. If something does not feel right, it is not right. People may say there's plenty of fish in the sea, but honey, you're only going to catch one whale, and you're going to have to go through a lot of sharks, maybe some piranha, and probably some guppies or goldfish before you get to your prize. And my last one would be take your time. I'm not one to take my time. And part of that is the fear that comes into play because of PTSD, because of my brain injuries. And number 7 came just before Brian and I reconnected. Wow. So I had to figure that piece out. And it was, I just needed security. And so I wanted him to say yes to us being in a relationship, and however that was going to look like. I needed certainty. I wanted to have that named, colored, shaped, in, all puzzle pieces there, because without that certainty, I felt so empty. But that was a me issue, not an us issue. And so when we can take our time, even in the midst of, oh my God, I want to kiss him right now. Oh my God, I want to hug him right now. Oh my God, I don't want to have sex with him. I just want to lie in bed with him. I just want to. But we have to listen to ourselves in that, because guys don't see it the same way. And if they do, they might be lying, probably lying. But only our girlfriends are going to see us for who we are. And so for any girls out there, any gals out there, I don't care what age you're at, have women friends. Have the ones you can like just spoon me on the couch right now because I need to cry and I need to feel like somebody's holding me, and you're my bestie, and I know you just, you trust me and I trust you. And it's nothing sexual at that point, because a lot of what women need isn't sexual. Right. It is emotional. But how does that, so my caveat is, Gary, what's his last name? I know I just made a bad face. The book is called The 5 Love Languages.
I was going to ask you, do you have a love language? I was going to ask you about that.
I'm saying this for 2 reasons, and I'll get into mine. Your love language of the 5, you might morph. You might do what you think the other person needs. But oftentimes we progress and portray the love language we want to receive. That doesn't mean that that's that other person's love language. So that might make them feel uncomfortable. That's part of the communication. So if somebody is an acts of service, they will change your tires, they will fill your gas up, they will go buy the groceries, they will give you a foot massage, but they're not going to snuggle you in bed, because they're not a physical touch person, but they're an acts of service person. You need to kind of see where that lays. I'm heavily physical touch. Like, I'm going to hug you. My girlfriends know this. Lynn, whenever we finally meet in person, I'm going to snuggle you. I'm going to full body hug you. Like, my leg is going to wrap around the back of your leg. You're going to laugh and think that you're going to fall over. Most of my friends do. I teased my best friend that after COVID I was going to open mouth kiss her. I have not done that. No, like I love on people so strongly, but I'm physical with it. That doesn't mean I always want sex.
Right.
Because I can have that. I can hold my son's hand, and that fulfills me. I can give him a hug. That fulfills me. Right. So there's that. So then there's acts of service, which is doing things for other people. Quality time. So we're having quality time right now, Lynn.
Absolutely.
And I know it's more like Oprah and whoever's bouncing up and down on her couch.
Some girlfriends having a great conversation. I am here for it. Oh, and she said the author was Gary Chapman.
Thank you. I knew it was a man, but I didn't know it was a small man or Gary Chapman. Perfect. But quality time is with your besties that you don't see but once or twice a year. But as soon as you get with them, it's like zero time has passed. Catch me up. What do you need? How can I be here for you? I love you. That's quality time, right? Then there's gifts. And some people, I actually, my counselor back in the day, he loved buying clothes for his wife. Loved it. Just loved it. And he had great taste. She had a beautiful wardrobe. And most of the stuff, but not everybody's is gifts. Now, do we love it when we get gifts? Yeah. Do some of us say, you could have used that money for groceries? So in that case, it's not a gift, right? But if he gives a gift, we have to see that that's from his place, right? And then there's words of affirmation. So if I can't hug somebody, I would do like I did for you at the beginning of this. And love on you with words that are positive but not BS. You can't come from a place that isn't true.
Right. Oh, we'll feel that.
Yeah. We all have BS detectors. We are our mama's. We are our mama's girls. But to be able to say sincerely what you like about a person and why, and it's an up leveling. This is so great. I love this about you. I love that about you. I think you're this. I think you're that. And so if I got them all right, it's physical touch, words of affirmation, gifts, quality time, acts of service. And you can have a number of them that work well. Mm-hmm. Brian is physical touch and acts of service. I am
You're definitely physical touch, right?
Physical touch, quality time. Quality time for me goes with words of affirmation. Yeah. I will do acts of service. Not for myself. I'll do it for other people. I won't clean up my house, but I'll come over and clean yours, honey, if you need it.
I love it. So how do you and Brian, how do you deal with like conflict? Is it one person more like, I would say more aggressive? Do you guys have those? Are you good with having those uncomfortable conversations? Because I feel like, because I have my ABC rule: attraction, balance, and communication.
Yeah.
And I just feel like a lot of couples, they struggle. I know I struggled with in my marriage with communication.
Yep.
So what do you think about that?
We had a conversation about that pretty early on. And he told me what he was like in his marriage. And I told him what I felt my observations were for me. And I say felt because I didn't think about it because I wasn't the person observing them. So for him, he's like, look, if I'm really pissed, I'll just say, I'm done for now. And he'll walk away until he calms down. If he's really upset, he'll walk out of the room, but he'll go someplace safe. He won't completely leave, but he'll take whatever time he needs to think about the situation and calm down until he can come in and there can be a calm conversation. He's all about peace. He's all about calm. And as soon as the heat rises, he puts a stop to it. And that's a grateful thing for me because in my second marriage, so the one to my 10-year-old, it was hard because of his addiction. He was a dog with a bone. He was a bull in a china shop. And I couldn't get that spare moment alone to like, okay, and to pray, like, Lord, help me through this moment. Help me be calm. Help me be present. Help me see what he wants. Help me see what he needs. And those are the words that Brian has used and what he has said that he's prayed for in those similar moments. And so when he puts up his hands, like, I'm done, even if I go again, he puts up the hand again. puts up the hand again, and I have to respect it. Even if I'm okay to still have the conversation, because I have to recognize he's not there.
I love that.
Yeah. And equally, I had a thing with my mom yesterday, and she wanted to come over and give me a hug. And I'm like, I'm not ready yet. I love you. I'm not ready yet. So she goes and tells my dad that I rejected her. That's how she felt. She's 86, God love her. But I was like, I didn't reject you, Mom. I just said, I'm not ready yet. So I later on explained all that to my folks, because that was one of the first times as a person in their household, instead of losing my shit, I said, I need time because I'm not good. And until I'm good, I'm not going to come back into this.
I love that. I love that. And you touched too on with the respect thing. I'm more traditional, and I say this all the time. How I grew up was very like gender roles was a thing. And I was going to ask you how. Let's just talk about it, because I feel like right now everybody's confused about it. Right now, everybody wants to be.
Let them be confused.
But it's like, please, Lisa Marie, I just want to hear what you got to say about this.
Again, it boils down to communication. Like, how do you want the money to go? If we were to get together in a full-time relationship, living together, married together, however because people do different things at different times, and that's fine. How do you want the money to go? Is it yours? Is it mine? Is it yours is yours, mine is mine, and we have a joint account? What do we do that supports the togetherness? And that's going to take some time. The money is going to be the hardest conversation. Have it first.
Yeah.
Second to that's going to be, okay, did you grow up a prince or a princess? Did you always have somebody there? Okay, well, I don't want to be called upon all the time to clean up. So how do you feel about $50 a week set aside for a housekeeper? Great. Find a solution that works for both of the personalities. And if it's a tiny, and I mean tiny bit of money, I'm not talking $2,000 a month, $24,000 a year. I'm talking little bit that can ease the pressure of expectation, because people's upsetness will happen because of their expectation of how things should have gone.
I was just talking to a girlfriend the other day, and they fuss about this all the time about the housekeeper. I'm just like, get a housekeeper. I feel like outsource. It's not that expensive to get a housekeeper. And then it's okay. I tell women this all the time. It's okay to ask for help. You cannot do it all.
My national sales director used to say, do not spend dollar time on penny jobs.
I'm about to get up and shout.
Please do. But when we're self-employed, which I've been for a very long time, I don't want to age myself, but it's been over 2 decades. You're in real estate, you're self-employed. At some point, something's got to give. And if your dust bunnies are throwing Easter parties every month, then you got to get somebody in to take care of that. If you don't have a dishwasher, price one out and do a payment plan to buy one. If you do not have what you feel you need to have, it's okay. If you need to get those prepackaged meals to come through that you can cook, but you didn't have to buy this stuff, then do it. Gone are the days of farm life.
I love you.
My mom, my grandparents grew up on a farm. Everybody worked on the farm. You didn't get a brand new dress. You made adjustments to the ones that were hand-me-downs. You darned your socks in a frickin' apple and ate the apple after you darned your socks. You didn't throw schnutz away because it had a frickin' hole in it. You had patchwork. You had stitches. You had somebody's underwear if you didn't even have underwear. But everybody had those jobs because the guys at that time could do more in the field without hurting themselves because the moms were pregnant, and so it was easier for them to bake and cook. I don't think it became a he or she thing. I think it was just what was needed at the time, because if the moms weren't pregnant, they were out pumping the water, they were feeding the cattle, they were feeding the chickens, They might have been helping with the harvest, because harvest is harvest. And at the end of the day, it's communication. What do you expect? What do you need? What did you grow up with? Which is part of taking the time to know someone.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. So good. So good.
It's just my truth. I'm not, I wish I knew it.
We didn't even have more time. I'm like, oh my God. But before, I just want to ask you this last question before we go. This has been so good. I appreciate you so much, because this is what we need to do. Like, talk about it. And because I feel like it's so many different things out here about relationships and the horrible sides of it. I just know that all we need to do, the number one thing, is we got to talk about it. We got to communicate, and there's a solution to everything. So I really appreciate you just being transparent and just opening up and telling us this is so needed. It's unbelievable. But my last, this is kind of a funny question. Because I'm watching like all of these podcasts and all these different things. What do you think about the 50-50 rule? Have you heard everybody talking about that? The 50-50 rule being that if there's, and I just want you to, the only reason because I know you're so funny. If there's a guy that if he takes a girl out on a date,
yeah,
and they're these young people, they're doing where the woman, she's paying for her dinner and he's paying for his dinner. What do you feel about that? That's what there's this whole war thing is about, this whole 50-50 rule. I had to ask you that because I wanted to see what you would say about
it. If a man is asking for my time, he's paying for my time.
Did y'all hear that?
I ain't putting out for him. When I'm asking him for his time, I'm going to pay for his time. And I don't expect him to put it out for me either. If I can't treat the man I love, how can I expect him to treat me? And if we're always going to be 50-50, then where's the je ne sais quoi? Where's that extra element of feeling special? And yes, that is part of a traditional thing. But I think if I'm asking out a guy, I'm making that first move. I'm saying, hey, you want to go for supper sometime? You better believe I better have that money in my bank account, because I'm going to pick up that check. I'm not going to ask him to pick it up, nor am I going to ask him to go Dutch. If I made that effort and I spoke first and if he wants to pick it up, well, fine. He can tackle me for that. I mean, he could tackle me anyway, but he could tackle us later.
And there's men that will never, even if you ask them, they would never pay for it. You know what I'm saying? There's just how they were raised. They may have seen their fathers do it and things like that. So you're saying, just to be clear, you're saying whoever asks for the date, that's who needs to pay, if they're into that 50-50 thing.
And I don't see 50-50. I see, I'm asking you, I'm paying for your time. Now,
okay,
I am going to be very impressed. And this is sad because of society, but I'm going to be impressed if every time we make arrangements to go out, he's picking up the tab, because I'm like, that's a man that's been raised right. That's a man that is investing in this relationship. Investing. People don't see investing as past time. And I should be appreciated. And then that allows me to treat him, if it's his birthday, if it's, something else, if it's whatever. Because I'm a strong woman. I've been self-employed. I'm okay to do that. And sadly, I've also read the room enough, or read the person across the table from me enough, that he's a little uncomfortable. I'm just like, you know what, dude, I can write this off against my business. I'll just pay for it. Thank you very much. I hope you have good luck out there. And I'll pick up the tab because I can write it off against my business.
Right.
And like, Now, it's like, no, we agreed to this and this. Okay, if you really want to. But if they don't come back a second time, honey, then they're not man enough for me.
I love it. And there you have it, people.
3 boys. I'm raising them for the world. They know.
Yes. Oh my God, I love it. Yeah, you raising 3 boys, so yeah, you got your hands full.
Oh, it's great. It's great. One of them is a performer in Toronto. The other one is here, and he's getting his life back on track. And I'm so proud of him. He's actually with Michelle Moore, my counselor. And then my 10-year-old talks like he's 20. And he just gets stuff. He gets how people should be treating each other, and he's upset that they're not doing it in his elementary school. And it's
beautiful.
It's beautiful, but it's hard to watch because he's
it's beautiful that he has those morals, those values. I love it. Keep doing what you're doing. So he'll find somebody that's very appreciative. Right. I'm sure.
Plenty of time. Plenty of time. For all of them.
Before we go to how can they reach out to you if anyone has questions, if anyone to come to see your performances, let them know where they can find you, Lisa Marie.
Thank you. Well, if you notice on my name at the bottom here, it just says Lisa-Marie, only because I didn't type fast enough to get back on here. My last name is Flynn, F as in Frank, Lynn, and that's my name on Facebook. That's my name on YouTube. I think it's Lisa Marie's Music on Instagram, but Facebook or YouTube or whatever, I do have some of my covers on there. I have an original. My comedy set is going to be up there. So yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to be whatever. And if you just reach out to Lynn and say, how do I get a hold of that crazy white girl? And she'll tell you, you know?
That's it to you. Yeah, so everybody was saying hello. Mahan says she's proud of you. This is great. And then Mahan said, yes, that shows that he respects and honors the woman's time. It's a gift to spend time with the woman. Absolutely, Mahan. You are so, that is so true.
Yeah, there's a part of
we love you. We love you, Lisa Marie. Thank you so much for spending this early afternoon. Well, it's early for me.
It's 9:00 my time. I'm in Eastern Standard Time. My bedtime's in an hour.
You are such a just beautiful light inside and out. I love you. I appreciate you. Thank you for being here. And I am just excited to see what else you got going on, honey. Okay? Have a beautiful night.
Thank you. You too, Lynn. I'm so honored to be here. Mwah. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay, yes, I knew it. I knew it was going to be amazing, per usual. I just love, this is the thing I do like about this platform here that I have. I love the fact that we can talk to real people with real stories, real life lessons, and all of that. It is just so amazing to see. It's so refreshing. I know there's so many things going on in the world right now, so much negativity out there, but at the end of the day, there are more good people than bad. So I just enjoy this. I just love everything about this, and I've learned a lot of stuff today myself, because life is just, it's a university. We're just here to learn and get to the next grade and the next grade and the next grade, just levels to this. So, thank you, Mahan. So yes, it is just great. And I've enjoyed this lovely evening. So again, thanks everyone. Thanks for the comments. Thanks for the likes. Thanks for the share. And please stay tuned. We will have more beautiful guests on here. Make sure that you like and share and subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Clock In with Lynn. And I love you, love you, love you. Thank you so much, and have a beautiful evening. Bye, everyone.